Okay. So, Shoe0nHead uses a website called Twitter. Um, this is evidence of many things. The primary amongst them being Shoe0nHead's low IQ. Twitter, terrible website. Never ever use it. During one of these classic mistakes that she would make, she was in. Here she is. She's in a Twitter thread. See. And here we have the Borisenko person or whatever. Shoe0nHead responds saying, "This is literally just the buy a house meme. You cannot be serious." So obviously, you know, one of the easiest way conservatives will kind of bowl over complaints about income inequality is by pointing out that it's not statistically impossible for a poor person to make it in this country. You ever seen those? They're really big on TikTok, actually. It's like a whole genre. How did I pay off my student debt in just 4 years? If I can do it, anyone can. And then you read the article, and it's like I got lent a condo by my parents for my birthday that I then rented out to other people, and then I got a job in my daddy's firm, and you know, like it's very, very consistently like some incredibly oblivious stupid shit. They really don't think it's impossible for me to overstate the degree to which wealthy people don't understand your problems. Okay, I have had, because of YouTube now, a fair amount of money for less than a year. I no longer relate to you at all. It's genetic, okay? It just blows out your mind, okay? But I remember remembering, all right? These people never remembered remembering, okay? These motherfuckers, okay, who talk about just do this, just do that, they genuinely have no idea. They're not capable. It's not just hatred either, though sometimes it definitely is. Sometimes it's just a genuine low IQ. I know that's not what genetic means. Shut the fuck up. Oh, wow. You guys, thank you for keeping me on my toes. You figured it out. When I said genetic during a sentence where I was obviously making a joke, you were able to ingeniously deduce that I didn't actually mean that an inability to relate to the poor is genetic. You actually figured me out. Nicely done. Thank you for keeping me on my toes. I really appreciate it, you know? You keep keeping me young out here. Now listen. Shoe0nHead, social democrat as she is, took issue with this particular approach. I'm not going to get too far into it, but basically, Shoe talks about how we live in the wealthiest country in the world, and how like 4 out of 5 Americans live paycheck to paycheck, which is fucking insane. Listen to this. Here's Shoe saying, "Paycheck to paycheck means no extra money to save," which, I mean, that's true. That's why it's paycheck to paycheck. And then Borisenko says, "Then get another job or start a business. I had a side hustle in addition to my full-time job, and that's how I did it." See, it's just this contemptuous inability to understand the nature of probability. Just start a business, you know. If everyone just starts a business, no one will be able to work in said business. Eventually, Tim Pool responds. Okay? So here's Shoe saying, "You think it's normal that someone should have to work 2 jobs to support themselves? You don't think we should maybe fix that?" Now, let me be perfectly clear. Right now, with the productive capabilities of this country, we could easily, I would almost go so far as to say near effortlessly, support a middle-class lifestyle for every single person who has a full-time job. Easily. We used to do it. We used to do it for single income households with strong unions, with better pay. It was that simple. We relied on a heavy manufacturing base that was largely built up prior to and during World War II. Now, not everyone got to enjoy that slice of the pie. It was mostly white people. But they could do it. And it didn't crash the fucking economy. It didn't break our country. We did it. We could do it. We were capable of it. And now we don't. Now, I mean, God, 80% paycheck to paycheck. Fucking insane. Now, there's a lot of nuance to this, obviously. One of the biggest bits of nuance is that what we have now, which is a credit economy, an economy which is predicated on the idea that people can borrow money they don't have. credit card payments. That's how things work today. It used to be, prior to the implementation of this sort of economic model, that you could only buy what you literally had money for. I know, it's like kind of a crazy thought. The average Joe back in 1914 wasn't exactly getting bank loans to, you know, buy themselves a new 1914 television set. And this is one of the reasons why the model produced by Ford, the assembly line model, where you would have a bunch of workers sort of collectively, efficiently manage the production of a model of a car. And Ford would actually pay each worker enough that they could afford the products they were building. That was one of the big jumps. Wow. Wow, there were no TVs in 19... Dry commentary it is. No attempts at jokes. Essentially, for a while, the only way we could reasonably maintain a productive consumer economy is by ensuring that most people could afford to buy the commodities that they were producing. Nowadays, we don't do that as much because we have a credit economy, which means that effectively people are incentivized into paying for things they can't necessarily immediately afford, meaning people scrape by a subsistence existence, paycheck to paycheck, and whatever excess needs they have go towards credit payments that eventually compound into debt that many people don't even get a chance to pay off. It's bad. We only do it because it fills the dividends. You know, it makes a lot of money for people on top. It's very bad. It sucks. Is this dry enough for you? Anyway, Tim Pool responds. People with 2 jobs work less than I do. Highly irrelevant, considering that Tim Pool is a millionaire. Are we trying to find some kind of minimum life standard? Yes. I'm all down for finding ways to improve the lives of people in poverty. But it's important for people to understand that people in poverty live better today than 99% of people 100 years ago. If you look carefully, you will notice there is no point. This has nothing to do whatsoever with Shoe0nHead's claim that people shouldn't have to work 2 jobs to survive in today's economy. Actually, if you look, it's incredible. If you can look as hard as you want. My eyesight's a little weak. I wear glasses, as you can see. They're pretty thick. Even if we took all of Tim's claims here to be true, which is not the case, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But Tim was not satisfied with merely being wrong and stupid on Twitter. No. Tim dreams for more. And he made an entire fucking video on this one interaction. Shameless. I thought I aimed to be shameless, you know. That's my goal, to be shameless. But I have never have I done that? Have I done a full video on one Twitter comment? Have I done that before? I'm not sure if I have. Have I? Well then, Tim, welcome to the trenches, friend.
You know, I'm supposed to be working here, reading the news and, researching, fact-checking. And I see these Twitter threads every so often where people start arguing about political issues. And, of course, I've got my opinion. So I saw this Twitter thread between...
I really like that opening. Well, I'm a journalist, and normally I'm doing very important work and really educating myself in the issues. That's why my facts are always so checked. But I saw this Twitter thread, and I've got opinions, so...
Karlin Boroshenko and Shoe0nHead talking about housing and working jobs, and I had to chime in. So I tweeted about my experience, how I feel about work, the American dream, socialism and the left, and I think let's have a conversation about what it means to achieve the American dream, work hard in this country, because I think too many people on the left are absolutely entitled and do not understand what the real world is because they have been pampered, essentially. Look, people...
Nice meme. So we can see what Tim is about to do here. What Tim is about to do here is he is about to go over a Twitter thread, and he is going to look over all the interactions and sort of add his shower thoughts to them, like what he would say, you know, otherwise in his head, which is a very a huge dick move, by the way. And I guess we can just go over it, but I'm actually going to save you guys the overwhelming existential suffering of having to listen to him drone on about this, and rather we can just look at the fucking thread, because holy shit, he is, I don't know if it's verbose. I would just say intensely uninteresting. So let's hit it up. First of all, and I've said this before, the claims he made in his initial tweet have nothing to do with the premise of the Twitter thread. Okay. Shoe replies, are we trying to find some kind of minimum life standard? Then Tim Pool says, so when do we reset the standard? If we set the standard today, then in 10 years it'll be too low. I want you to really fathom what kind of unfathomably stupid response this is. I want you to really consider it, like dig in deep in your mind, okay? Well, if we say every house should have running water today, then maybe in 50 years there will be some new thing that we have to say everyone should be entitled to. Well, okay, now every house has electricity. Now this has gone too far, clearly. What if some sort of underground wire could be run between houses to allow them access to some sort of telecommunications network? We would have to provide that to every house in the country. Okay, we have phone lines to every house in America now. Okay, all right, fine. Well, what if there was some kind of wireless broadband network people could connect to share images and data over a stream of consciousness that would allow them to... Okay, so now every house in America has internet. Like, this is the stupidest fucking... What is this? Yes. As technology improves and as our collective social, like the way Tim is saying this, like Tim wouldn't balk at all if somewhere in the Midwest of America there are still Americans like pulling water out of wells and lighting themselves by candlelight every night. Like Tim isn't even just being stupid here. Tim is arguing against the basic premise that has allowed this country to infrastructurally develop over the past 200 years. The government's investment in allowing electricity, phone lines, what have you, to be installed in essentially every house and business across this country has been instrumental in technologically and infrastructurally developing our country. Can you imagine what America would be like if the government had never subsidized the development of electric lines all the way out to the West? Can you imagine? I mean, that would be like an entire segment of the country that would just be, they would be burning poop in wood log stoves to survive. They would be completely disconnected from they would return to monkey, essentially. They would be completely disconnected from the modern economy. They would be a dead weight on this country, at least in any productive capacity. But if you agree the standard keeps going up, then it will be literally impossible to ever solve this problem. Look at this. Like, the way he treats this. Like, well, if we do a good thing, we have to keep doing good things. We can't ever finish doing good things, so why ever do good what? Tim Pool, he calls himself a liberal, by the way, and he says he cares about the plight of the poor. We do, and we can do better, but no matter what, you will always have to work hard to move forward. Completely fucking irrelevant to what we're talking about, by the way. Lastly, we need to end the income disparity problem and enact better financial regulation in politics. So we need to end the income disparity problem. Tim, what's a good way of addressing a disparity? Maybe by raising the floor for the poorest in this country. Possibly. The strangest thing to me is that he felt the need to insert himself into this and then was so proud of his involvement that he made a video on it. I worked 16 hours every day for almost a decade, from ghetto, gutter, trash, high school dropout to successful media personality. The American dream never left. It just requires hard work and sacrifice, but some people don't even want to work 2 jobs to get there. So, first of all, There's no fucking way Tim worked 16 hours a day, okay? I don't believe it. This guy lies in all of his fucking videos, so I don't believe him for... Didn't he literally steal, like, his site from his brother or something? I don't believe shit. Like, wasn't that allegedly something which took place? I don't believe a single fucking thing from this guy. He lies about every single fucking thing he puts in his videos. Now, the problem with this line of logic is, it is hypothetically possible that anyone in America can become wealthy and successful, but it is equally factual that not everyone can. Because for everyone, Tim, how do you make your money, Tim? You make your money off of advertisement revenue, correct? Is that correct, Tim? Right? For the most part, I would imagine. It's where you make a large amount of money from. Merchandise? Well, people have to buy that merchandise. And the money that you get from advertisement only comes because Google AdSense receives a certain amount of money that they're paid by businesses that want to have their products advertised. And none of that would work if every single person on Earth was a gigantic media mogul multimillionaire. You only get your money because it funnels up from the complicity and from the participation of millions of other people. Every wealthy and successful person builds their empire on the backs of other people. Look at me, for example. I am now wealthy. How did I get in this position? Not by working 16 hours a day, but by having a decent degree of media literacy, by being funny, and by being a memer in Destiny's chat for a decade before finally putting those important life skills to use. And do you know how successful I would be if every single person who watched me had instead gone on to also become a political streamer mogul? I am literally nothing in every sense without the thousands of people who enjoy my content. The system does not work. It does not function if every single person is at the top. You cannot have a world without janitors, without service workers, without fast food employees, without city workers, without public servants. The world just doesn't function without these people. It reminds me of something, I guess I'm kind of throwing shade here. It reminds me of something Destiny has said in the past as well, which I always thought was really, really, really dumb. The essential premise of not everyone should be allowed to live in cities like San Francisco or Los Angeles or Seattle, New York. These cities are expensive. So why should everyone get to live there? If you're poor, you should go move somewhere else. Well, the problem with that is poor people keep the city working. Poor people keep the city functioning. Poor people clean the streets. Poor people employ the businesses that the wealthy people get to enjoy their proceeds from. Essentially, this perpetual conservative myth that everyone can make it because one random person in a million happened to make it is not only statistically impossible, it's stupid. It's incredibly stupid. And it's contemptuous, too. Because anyone who thinks about it for even a second, even just a little while, can understand that this idea that everyone can make it is just it's a non-starter. But people like Tim Pool will continue to push it because the alternative would be acknowledging, A, that their success was predicated on the efforts of other people, which egomaniacs don't like doing, and B, because it would require them to acknowledge the fact that there is something fundamentally unethical about the way our economy is run. Most of them don't care. Honestly, you don't need to waste that much time thinking about it. But I do think it's pretty funny that Tim Pool saw Shoe0nHead saying, like, hey, it sucks that in the wealthiest country of the world, people can't afford to live. And he came in and went like, well, I'm a millionaire and I worked very, very hard. So, actually, everyone could do it. Oh, did Pigeon step on Hyena's keyboard? Such is life. There's a reason they call us essential. Yeah. I can't wait, man. The next time I get an opportunity to talk to one of these faux bootstrap dipshits who tell me that hard work would solve the American dream, I can't wait to tear into those motherfuckers. These are the stupidest fucking people. And they hate you, by the way. They do hate you. How many of you are poor? Raise your hands if you're poor. It's up to you. You set the threshold, okay? Be responsible, though. If you're a student whose parents make $140,000 a year, you're probably not poor. You personally are probably just buying pizza on the weekends, you know. Yeah. Tim Pool hates all of you. He does. He despises you. Because each and every one of you is an ongoing testament to the fact that there was something wrong with this country. And in order for him to acknowledge that, he would have to implicitly accept some of the premises laid out by left-leaning people who he claims to be a part of, but of course is not. Because Tim Pool is, if not alt-right, then at the very least far-right in everything he does and says. So yeah, sorry about that. But if you're cool, Tim Pool's opinion of you won't matter that much because he's a buffoon and you're all super rad. That's my personal suggestion.